we begin, I want you all to place your cell phones in this handy little cell phone basket that I have. Don't you? Alright, thank you. I'm going to set this right here. On average, a person checks their phone every 6.5 minutes throughout the day, and up to 150 times every day, and that's in a 16-hour day. A few generations ago, kids and just people in general would go outside and they would play without the use of cell phones or technology. If they wanted to talk to somebody, they would go next door and knock on the door, or they would send a handwritten letter. That was before email and all of that stuff. However, today, you don't see kids outside playing and having fun if they don't have their cell phones with them. Rarely anymore do you see them playing outside in general. Too often they are busy inside playing video games or looking on Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. And even today you see people on dates and they're both staring in opposite directions, looking at their phones, not even paying attention to each other. By show of hands, how many of you have checked any of these social media sites at least once today? So practically every single person in the room. And why is that? The pins that you saw, you've seen at least 10 times. I've been on Pinterest, I know how it works. Facebook, the same thing. Those status updates, they're not important. And same on Twitter. They're jokes you look at. None of it is really stuff that you need to know at the time. So why are we letting these distract us from actually interacting with other people? Instead of talking to the person next to you in class, maybe gaining a new friend, a lot of us are too busy sending pins to each other. So what happened? Why have we let technology become a distraction? Over 50% of North American homes have their televisions playing constantly. That's not just watching an hour of cartoons in the morning or maybe a movie every other day. No, that is on constantly, 24/7. Instead of families sitting down together in the evenings talking to each other, they sit in the living rooms or wherever they may have their TV and sit there and watch a screen. And it's a distraction. And children grow up like this, and they grow up thinking that it is normal. They grow up without that social interaction. And without that, they're also lacking nonverbal communication and body language, and that does affect how they live the rest of their lives. Technology is a distraction from the rest of our lives because that social interaction is such a big part of how you get through your life. And there are 4 main side effects of how technology affects your life, and those are elevated exasperation, deteriorated patience, declining writing skills, and lack of physical activity. The first one, elevated exasperation, that includes an increase of frustration. That's because you're playing games on your phone and you can't get to the next level, so you get angry. That 2048 game I'm sure we've all played, just can't get that next tile. You play it over and over again and it becomes so frustrated, and that leaks over into the rest of your life. You become frustrated when you didn't get that job offer. That would happen normally, but with this, you just get so angry with it. The next one is deteriorated patience. I personally, if a website doesn't load within 3 seconds, I don't want it anymore. I'm on to the next thing. But we need to remember that life isn't immediate. Nothing is instantaneous in life. We may apply for that job offer, but we're not going to know as soon as we walk out the door if we got it or not. There's a process that happens, and we need to let that happen. And the next one is declining writing skills. I mean, anymore we have tools and technology that correct everything you do wrong. You have the little white or the little red lines that show up on Word documents telling you exactly what your mistake was. But what happens when we don't have this? What happens when we need to handwrite a letter and we don't have that technology? It affects how that works. And the last one, lack of physical activity. We all know that America is suffering from an obesity epidemic. And part of that is because we would rather sit inside on our couches becoming couch potatoes instead of going outside and playing. We would rather watch TV instead of actually talking to each other or going for a walk or a bike ride. And so what you can do is you can be an example. I mean, think of a time when you have been with your friends, 3 or 4 of you decide to go out to dinner. And chances are, most of you or all of you were sitting there looking at your phones instead of talking to each other. I mean, we've all been guilty of it. We know how it goes. We've all seen it happen. But what can we do to change that? One thing I found is called the phone stack game, which is this picture here. When you go out to dinner, everyone just puts their phones in a stack on the table. And the first one who fails and grabs their phone first, or it goes off, has to pay for everyone's bill. So that's just good incentive there. That's just an idea that people have thrown out there to try and control the way technology is controlling our lives. And the other one is a phone basket. I've actually personally tried this one. My friends and I, my roommates last semester, we all really liked a TV show. And we decided that we didn't want to have a distraction while we sat there and we discussed the plot and everything because we got really into it. So we actually sent a phone basket around and set our phones outside the door. So even if they went off, we wouldn't even look at them. We wouldn't be tempted. And that experience taught me that you don't need cell phones. Like, you can sit there and you can talk to people that are there with you. Because when you are sitting there trying to talk to somebody and they are texting, not even looking at you, and you have to repeat yourselves 5 times because they can't care enough to listen to you, how does that make you feel? You feel terrible because they don't care about you enough to actually put their phone down and spend time with you. So just put your phones down. That's what I want you to get out of this, is the next time you're with your friends, just take the initiative and say, hey, let's all put our phones in a stack in the middle of the table. Hey, let's actually spend time with each other. Maybe the next time you're sitting next to each other in a classroom, instead of looking at your phone to send a pin to somebody, you put it down and you strike up a conversation with the person sitting next to you. And you never know where these will lead. And so in conclusion, we just need to stop letting technology control ourselves, control us. We need to put it down and take back control of our lives and just go out there and put down social media and actually socialize with real people. Alright, and so just to leave you with, I have a video to play for you, but it won't play on the TV, so I'm just going to play it on the computer. So bear with me here.